Hi, my name is Jim Moon, and this is my story. I was born into what I call a non-functional family, dysfunctional family. My dad was an alcoholic. He come home drunk one night and beat me. And I was in the hospital, and the doctor actually said that I wouldn't make it through the night. And he got a year and 1 day for that beating. And while he was in prison, my mom divorced him and moved us away. I never saw my dad again or heard from him or heard about him. My two older brothers taught me how to smoke by the time I was 5. My mom was buying me cigarettes by the time I was 10 because she got tired of me stealing hers. I was in juvenile hall by the time I was 7. I was on probation all the time I was 8 and 9. I was experimenting with drugs ever since I can remember. When I was 13 years old, I went on a Friday night to spend a night with our friends at a friend's house. We wanted to go to the show and so on Sunday, and so we came back to my house so I could change clothes. And at first I thought my mom was doing her thorough house cleaning and washing the drapes or something. But as we got up next to the house, we looked in the window and there wasn't nothing in that house. They'd moved everything over the weekend while I was gone. For the next 5 years, I lived on the streets in Everett, Washington. And I remember I grew up with a lot of anger because of my real dad. Like I would stand outside of school grounds and I would watch the other guys play football and baseball and this kind of stuff, and I'd see their dads cheering them on, and I used to wonder why not me? Why didn't my dad love me, and why wasn't he there for me, And so when I was 18, I hitchhiked down here and met my wife. 8 months later, we got married, and somehow I thought from that point on that my drug taking and my drinking was, I guess, going to disappear. And it didn't. My anger didn't get any better. It just got worse and worse. And with my drinking, after 10 years of marriage, I found myself in divorce court. And I had a judge tell me that I couldn't see my kids. Well, I knew right then that something had to change because I couldn't go without seeing my kids. My wife had always asked me if we could try church. I had always told her, you can take the kids, and yeah, you can go, but it's not for me. Well, at this point, I said yes. I remember I was scared for anybody to find out who I was or where I came from or what I'd been into, because I didn't want to be rejected. I was scared to death of that. I told my wife, I said, I got to tell somebody. I can't keep going and not let anybody know who I am. And so I thought, well, I'll just go to the pastor. So I sat down and told him my entire story, and the first thing he said was, or the first thing he asked was, can I pray with you? And that just floored me, and he prayed with me. He didn't say, he didn't sit there and go, ooh, you did that, He just listened. That's the first time in my whole life that somebody would just listen to me. Once I told my story, I was free. I wasn't angry anymore because I wasn't scared anymore. I didn't have to hide anything anymore. I was out in the open. I told everybody everything. And when Pastor Ralph came and asked me if I would help start a 12-step program, a Christ-based 12-step program of some kind, I told him, yeah, I would. I actually went through the program with them. I told them when it came to my dad, when it came time to forgive my dad, I said, I've turned this over to God. And if he walked up to my door tonight, I would invite the man in and feed him. Thank God they didn't accept that, because they said, that's not what God wants. God wants you to actually make an honest effort to find him and forgive him to his face. Saturday morning, I got up to call him. I couldn't call him. I cried for like 2 hours. I couldn't call him. What was I going to say? What if he said, I don't want to hear from you anymore? And a lady answered the phone. I asked for Naaman Moon, and she said, well, who is this calling? And I said, and I didn't know what to say, so I said, well, just tell him it's his son, Jim. And she goes, oh my God. And she says, hold on a minute, I'll get him. And I hear her yell, Jimmy, this is your son, Jim. And I hear an old man in the background say, somebody help me with my hearing aid. I want to hear my boy when he speaks. I lost it again. I thought, man, he does want to talk to me. He has always wanted to see me. And now me and him we have got a great relationship. What I love about this program is sitting back and watching God work. And I just think it's awesome that God can take somebody from my background, no matter where I've been or what I got myself into or bad decisions that I made, God took all that and showed me how to use it to help somebody else and give somebody else hope. We get ourselves to a point in life where we think there is no hope. But with God, there's always hope. Always hope.
That's how it's happened, living life by the drop.